Anthurium in Greek means tail flower, probably because of its long, tail-like stalk with spathe and spadix on the top. This is the spathe, a colorful modification of a leaf, which is now popularly known as the Anthurium flower. But botanically speaking, the actual flowers are on the spadix, a pencil-like protrusion rising from the base of the spathe. This spadix houses a number of tiny and insignificant bisexual flowers. Anthurium belongs to the family Araceae, with about 115 genera and more than 1,500 species, of which only 40 or 50 are cultivated as window plants. The Anthurium flower is a native of South America and was introduced into India only about 100 years ago.
Anthuriums are beautiful. They look great and attractive because of their bright and rich colors. I love them very much. As for my personal combination, I like red and white. Orange and white is also a good combination.
Anthurium flowers have no fragrance, but have excellent, bright, natural, and attractive colors. They come in red, orange, white, and pink. In addition, hybrid varieties are in green, brown, and a combination of bicolors. Anthurium flowers have a long vase life. They do not lose their colors, structure, size, and charm for 3 to 4 weeks. Hence, they are in great demand, both within the country and abroad. In India, Anthurium flowers are used for decorative purposes and are popular in commercial establishments in general, and hotels in particular are its biggest customers.
We buy anthuriums in our hotel because this flower lasts for quite a few days, unlike the other flowers. And this flower ranges in different colors and it really looks very nice. So we use this flower in our restaurant, our room, our lobby, and also for flower arrangements for banquets and other parties, because it gives a very subtle and a very relaxing ambience to the place. And a lot of our customers also like this flower because it doesn't look jazzy like a flower arrangement, and just one flower in a bud vase looks really nice. So we prefer to buy this flower.
The value of each flower in the domestic market varies from around 25 to 50 rupees, and the plants between 150 to 200 rupees. However, the grower gets only 10 to 12 rupees for his flower and about 100 rupees for the plant. The real profit for the grower comes from exports, where he gets at least 60 rupees for each flower. To grow anthuriums, one does not require a greenhouse. TV Gopinath gives tips to grow anthurium on a large scale.
First of all, the land is leveled, and thereafter 4 feet wide beds of 6 inches high are made. These beds are thereafter mixed with organic manure and sand. We use sand for proper aeration for healthy growth of the plant. After the bed is prepared, we use planting media to plant the anthurium plants. We use this square pith for medium because of its water retaining property. The distance between the two plants is maintained at 1 foot for optimum growth.
Anthurium plants grow best at a temperature between 18 to 30 degrees Celsius, but will survive up to 35 degrees Celsius. If the temperature falls below 15 degrees Celsius, the flowers get discolored and subsequently the plant dies. Anthurium is a shade-loving plant. It is normally grown under a shade net of 75 to 80%, giving it only 20 to 25% sunlight. Anthurium thrives well under high levels of humidity, that is, above 70%. Anthurium plants start yielding flowers 6 months after plantation of the 8-month-old seedling. The first flower is very small in size. Then the size increases with every yield. The 5th flower of the plant usually blooms to full size. The sequence of leaf, flower, and new leaf is maintained throughout the life of the plant. On the average, each plant gives between 6 to 8 flowers per annum. Moreover, during this period, plenty of offshoots, or what are called suckers, emerge from the roots, which can be removed and replanted.
Anthurium plants grow to a height of 4 to 4.5 feet in height on its maturity. As you know, it is a perennial plant. It stays for as long as you want it. The only thing is, after 5 years of its life, its yield started reducing, and therefore it is desirable that you prune it. And once it's pruned, you can plant the main stem in a different bed, and you also will get what is known as suckers, which can be replanted. Now, that is how you propagate from one plant to a larger number of plants. Similarly, when you go back from the plant to the flower, we look into the size of the flower and the stem length. The longer the stem length, the better it is for commercial purposes. Now, normal stem length would be normally 3 feet, but we do have between 3 to 4.5 feet high stem length.
On an investment of rupees 2 lakhs, one can set up a unit of 2,000 plants on just 30 square meters of land, which will bloom after 6 months of planting and can earn rupees 8,000 per month in the first year and rupees 12,000 and above from the second year onwards, in addition to income from sale of plants.
Anthurium flowers are harvested once a week on its maturity. How we determine the maturity is from the change in color of the spadix. Initially, the entire spadix will be yellow in color. As the flower matures, a white color, the yellow changes into white, and as soon as it reaches 3/4 of white and 1/4 of yellow, it is considered to be ready for harvesting. If you do harvest earlier than that, then the shelf life is reduced.
The stems of harvested anthuriums constantly require water to stay fresh and healthy. And during long-distance transportation, special care is required in packing. As seen here, each flower is separately packed in a specially designed plastic cover to avoid damage to its shape and to its color. The cut stem is covered in soaked cotton and plastic is tied around it. This will help the flowers remain fresh during transportation. In this box, 100 flowers are being packed.
What you're seeing here is an anthurium fruit, containing seeds after it has been pollinated. This is one method of propagating anthurium plants. There are 3 methods. One is seeds, the other one is vegetative growth, which is by way of suckers obtained from the mother plant. The third one, and the most modern one, is the tissue culture method of propagation, wherein a large number of plants are obtained from one leaf or one cell.
In nature, the methods of plant propagation is maybe either sexually or asexually. Sexually reproduced plants demonstrate very high variation since their seed progeny is not true to type unless they have been derived from inbred lines. Asexual reproduction, on the other hand, gives rise to plants which are genetically identical. The in vivo clonally propagated plants is often difficult, expensive, and even unsuccessful. The tissue culture method offers an alternative means of plant vegetative propagation. The clonally propagated plants through tissue culture method is popularly known as micropropagation. In this method, it is possible to produce millions of plants which are genetically identical. The advantage of tissue culture method in Anthurium is number one, production of selected elite clones in large scale with lesser space and short in time. Number two, production of uniform size and color with respect to flower. Number three, plants are free from disease.
But some plants are susceptible to disease during cultivation. Anthurium blight is also known as bacterial blight, as it is caused by a bacterium. The symptom is yellowing of leaves. But spraying streptomycin sulfate or oxytetracycline at the initial stage will completely eliminate this disease. Anthracnose or spadix rot. Here, fungus primarily infects individual flowers on the spadix. The infection starts as tiny dark spots and expands to other areas. It can easily be cured by fungicide. Root rot. Here, fungi and nematodes attack roots, which causes stunted growth of plants, reduction in the size of leaves and flowers. This can be avoided by spraying or drenching fungicide and applying nematicide on the soil. After disease management, let's take a look at floriculture in general. The global market for floriculture products is in excess of $7 billion US, and India's share is only 0.3%. Anthurium exports are presently negligible. The world production of Anthurium cut flowers are controlled by 4 nations. Number 1, Holland, produces 40 million stems annually. Number 2, Hawaii, produces 12 million stems annually. Number 3, Mauritius, produces 8 million stems annually. Number 4, the countries in the Caribbean produce 4 million stems annually. India produces a meager 0.5 million stems annually, of which 90% is consumed in the domestic market and only 10% is exported.
There is a huge market for Anthurium flowers, both for internal consumption as well as export market. However, unfortunately, we are not growing sufficient quantity of flowers, neither to meet our internal requirement nor for take up a large-scale export market. We have exported our flowers. We are exporting our flowers. We are using our flowers in India, but limited to 5-star hotels and expensive marriage functions. Now, in India, the cultivation of Anthurium is confined or limited to Karnataka, and that too in Coorg district, a certain part of Kerala, and Yarkad in Tamil Nadu, and 1 or 2 small places in Maharashtra. Together, we do not make enough flowers to get our name registered as a grower of Anthurium in the world market. The world market is huge for this flower.
Mauritius has developed this flower as a national flower, and it is their largest export earner. Mauritius has also banned export of their Anthurium plants from the country. Only flowers can be exported. The success of the market leader is a beacon for others to follow. Holland started to cultivate Anthuriums a mere 15 years ago. Today it is the number 1 producer and exporter. And the reason is very simple. The vast and lucrative international market for Anthurium is just too tempting to be ignored.